This is part 6 of the series of tutorials for constructing our Drive applications. This is also the beginning of stage 3. So it's the first video in stage 3, and it's the 6th video overall in the series. As usual, we start from the guide for the stage 3, which I have open in front of me, and it says that you need to, of course, start where you left off in stage 2. We're going to duplicate the scene Drive stage 2 and call it Drive stage 3. It should be in my scenes folder, Drive stage 2, edit. Duplicate, in this case automatically got named Drive stage 3. Don't forget to double click on it so to make sure that that's the one that's open and that's the one we're going to edit. I also already did step number 3, which is to download from your course shell the zip, which is called Drive Stage 3 Teacher Pack 2025. Unzipped it, copy pasted it into assets, just like we did in stage 1. Stage 2 did not have a teacher's packet. And in edit project setting meta XR, check if there's any recommendations, accept and fix all on all platforms, just to make sure. Edit and project settings and meta XR. I see a recommendation. I apply all of it. I go to the other platform. I don't see any recommendations. We're good to go. Back to the guide. Then the actual steps. What we're going to do is go back to the teacher's pack from stage 1 and import standard assets because we will need something from it. And the way we're going to import it is either by right-clicking Import Package or even easier, double-click. So Drive Stage 1, not the one you just brought in, not the pack for Stage 3, but it was supplied back with Stage 1. And here it is, Standard Assets Package 2023 fixed. It's got a few things that we will need. I will double-click on it. It brings up, the whole import dialog, which we've seen before, with everything being new and green. And I'm going to import all of it, which might take a second. What sometimes happens, here it is that a dialog will come up and it'll ask you about, some scripts that are written, let's say, in an older way, and it wants to fix them. And it asks you if you want to fix them. And you're going to answer yes for these and for other files that might be found later. Yes. On Windows, of course, cosmetically, this dialog might look different, but we'll give you the same options. Again, we're importing this pack especially because it has some assets that we're going to use later, maybe for the water. Yeah, they're like the texture of the water and, and things like that. Back to here. Yeah, so it says if prompted to fix scripts, yes, and for future scripts. Then, because we imported it, but it was made for the built-in render pipeline, and we are using URP, we need to convert all the materials, not just all the materials in the standard assets, but all the materials we have. Let's make sure that all the materials we ever imported or that we ever brought in are all URP. And the way we're going to do that is by using step number 2. We're going to click Assets, and then in the search box, we're not going to search for something specific, but we're going to search for a type. We're going to search for materials. And then it makes a big list of all the materials. Probably we have done this in class. So you can see, for instance, that there's some materials that show magenta, which means they are not URP. So on Mac, Command A, on Windows, Control A for select all. And the way to convert them all to URP would be to go to the Edit menu, Rendering, Materials, Convert selected built-in materials to URP. Since all of them were found and all of them are selected, it's going to convert all of them. We're going to click Proceed. Might take a second, but now those materials, see, now they're not magenta and so on. Good. Good time to save. A good time to save project. So we just did steps number 2 and 3. It listed all the materials. We converted all the materials to URP. Then the next thing we're going to do is step number 5 is to disable or delete. I'd rather delete the plane. Here's the thing. We're going to create that track in the sky, and we need an ocean floor. Why can't it be the plane? Because the plane is so thin that sometimes when you fall from really far above it, it goes right through it if it like misses it by a frame. So we're going to create something that we can never fall through. So plane, right click, delete. There is no plane. Instead, what it says is to create a cube and call it ocean floor. A cube has some thickness to it, unlike a plane. And give it the following parameters. And as you can see, it's basically 1,000 by 1,000 as far as width and height. It's 100 meters thick, but 50 meters down, which moves it down basically to 0. So right click. It's not nested into anything. It's going to be a 3D object. It's going to be a cube called ocean floor. I'm going to reset. Then, as far as scale, it's going to be 1,000 by width and 1,000 by depth. It's going to be 100 by height, and it's going to be -50 as far as its Y location. And that puts it, if I look at it from the side, if that puts it basically like a big, like a big slab of concrete that the car is basically on. Save. That also has its own mesh collider because it's box collider, sorry, not mesh, box collider, and that's what's going to prevent things from going through it. Then we need to make it look like an ocean floor. So just to make things organized, to keep things organized, we're going to create a folder called Stage 3 Developer Assets. Not the teacher's assets, but developer, your assets. So there's a ton of folders here. We're going to create a new one. Create folder. Its name is going to be Stage 3 Developer Assets, and everything we're going to create in Stage 3 will go in there. I'm going to open it. And within it, we're going to create a material. We don't need a separate materials folder, but just a material called Ocean Floor Mat. Its base map is going to be rocks base color, but its normal map is going to be rocks normal. So, create material, ocean floor mat, and I'm already giving it to the ocean floor, and its base maps. I'm going to scroll alphabetically and get to rocks base color, and it's really big. We're going to change the tiling. Its normal is going to be rocks normal. I just passed it. Here it is. And it's tiling, I believe, what was it? Zero smoothness, because the ocean floor is not smooth. Zero metallic map, and tiling 100 by 100. So, Mr. Ocean Floor, your metallic map is 0. Your smoothness will be 0. And your tiling will be 100 by 100. Oh. And now it looks like an ocean floor. When I look at it from above and get closer, the car is on, like a rocky ocean floor. Normal map, tiling, 0, 0, assign. We just did. Step number 9, we're going to change the player, not the vehicle Y position, to 101. So it's basically hanging way, way, way up in the air, 101 meters above the ocean floor. So again, select the player, not inside the vehicle, which we already started, creating, but the whole player, which also includes the colliders and the camera and everything, and change its Y to 101. And we are way up in the air. As you can see, we're like hanging in the air. If I look at it from the side, here is the player, and I have to zoom out quite a lot to see that it's 101 meters above the ocean floor. This is where our track is going to be. And most of the rest of this stage will be building the track. So we just did step number 9. We're going to create an empty game object, call it whole track. It's going to be a container for all the track parts. And we're going to reset transform, empty, whole track, reset transform. Very important to reset transform because all the other parts will have their own relative height within it. And the first thing we're going to do is, as its child, we're going to create a cube, and it's going to be called track part. Whole track, right click, 3D object, cube, track part. Let's get closer to that track part and see what we're going to give it. We're going to give it the following parameters. Its position Y is going to be 100. It's 100 meters above the ocean floor. 0 rotation and scale 5, 0.4, 20. Let's see if we can do that. So 100 meters in the air, 5, 0.4 is basically its thickness. It's like a slab of concrete, and Z20, this is its length. And what it does is position it as a piece of road, like the beginning of a piece of road under the car. If I go and look at it, it should look something like this. Especially if I'm on, no perspective. It's just a convenience what kind of perspective you want to be on the scene window. But in the game window, it should look like this. In the stage 3 assets, we're going to create a new material. We're going to call it Track Mat 1. The base map will be Track Concrete Texture. Let's start with that. So we already have this stage 3 developers assets, and we're going to create a new material. Its name is going to be Track Mat 1. You're probably guessing there's going to be more than one. I'm going to give it to the track part either by dragging it here or by dragging it here. And its base map is going to be concrete. So that starts with a C. Concrete texture, here it is. And track concrete texture, so that's a different one. It's similar, but it's not exactly the same one. So I need to go to the letter T for track concrete texture. Here it is. Very similar, but that's the right one. And the other thing it says, as normal, we're going to use concrete texture normal and change the tiling to 3x6. So it's normal map is going to be the one that starts with C, the concrete texture normal, which is going to give it a little bit of bumpy look. And its tiling is going to be 3x6. The reason that it's 3x6 is because it's stretched. And this way it's going to compensate for that, and it's going to make all those little pebbles look, not stretched. It's going to have 0 smoothness and 0 metallic map because it's concrete. Concrete is kind of the opposite of smooth. And we assigned it to trackpad, and we're going to add the physics material road to the box collider. We should have already the physics material road from the time that we tested the driving of the car. So where do we add physics material? We add it in the box collider. And here it is. Now let's look at what it says. Play. you should be able to drive off a cliff, drive off of the slab and land on the ocean floor. Let's see if that works. I'm going to play. Look at how the car is slightly up in the air. The car is like 101. So I want it to kind of fall down a little bit when we start and kind of land on the slab. Now, using the arrows that, assuming we made them work in stage 2, I can make it drive back and forth and turn and so on. But if I keep driving off of this track part, I'm going to fall upside down or right side up on the ocean floor. Boom. I can't go up because we haven't written the script that reloads, but at least it works. So I'm going to stop. If it worked, if I was able to drive off and everything, so it's a good track part, I'm going to I'm going to turn it into a prefab by dragging it into the stage 3 developer assets. Feel free to alternately create a My Prefabs folder. Anything, all of that is just for the purposes of keeping it organized. The whole point is keeping things organized. And I'm going to take track part, became a prefab. The point is now duplicating it. I recommend duplicating it using edit duplicate and not by dragging in. Let me show you. When I drag things in, for some reason, they tend to get like really weird transforms. And since a lot of our transforms are going to be based on the previous one, it's going to preserve more of them if we duplicate. Edit, duplicate. Now the name it gives it is track part 1. As developers, we should be used already to thinking about whatever is 1 is actually the second one, because arrays always start from 0. It's kind of like an array. So track part 1 is our second track part. And what are we going to do to it? Duplicate the instance of track part as another child of whole track. It'll automatically start numbering it like track part 1. In the scene, make sure that you're on Y view, orthographic, which is no perspective. It will make things easier to put tracks on the grid. So I'm going to look at it from above and not like this, but orthographic. So it's kind of flat, like, architect's point of view. And this new one that we just duplicated, we're going to give it the following transform. And the only real change is the Z. Look, the Z is the only thing we're really going to change. Everything else is exactly the same. Z is going to be 20, which is going to put it 20 meters ahead. Now we have 2 track parts. First one, second one. So our road is twice as long. If I click play, I should be able to drive over both of them before I fall. We're going to have sounds too, to the ocean floor. Notice that right now I'm upside down. That's why I can't see the ocean floor, but that's fine. The next thing we're going to do is not a flat track part, but a ramp. But it feels like this would be a good thing to start doing in the next part. So this was part 6. I will see you in part 7, which will also be the second part in stage 3.